Well, this might be considered an odd character to figure in any controversy, but figuring it is, and at parliamentary level no less. The rubber's in the skin itself, genuine Australian kangaroo skin from kangaroos shot especially for the purpose. Since March, there have been 17 petitions to Parliament warning that kangaroos are facing extinction and calling for a ban on the export of kangaroo products, like the bear and like this rather gruesome item, a bottle opener featuring a kangaroo paw handle. In the forefront of the fight to save the kangaroo is Mr. Arthur Queripel, a retired Mildura businessman who's in Melbourne on a recruiting drive for his newly formed Australian Wildlife Protection Council. Mr. Queripel, you're not exactly a young man. Why at this stage of your life now you're worrying about kangaroo protection?
Well, I had saved some money that I thought at this time of life I'd be able to spend travelling the outback, enjoying the beauty of the wildlife. But instead of that, I find now that I've up to date spent over $11,000 in a struggle trying to protect them from cruelty and being exterminated.
What do you hope to achieve and prove?
Well, I first of all, I want to try and prevent the cruelty to them. And I want to protect the remnants of them. Because I feel the kangaroo is really part of Australia. Without the kangaroo, Australia is no longer Australia, in my opinion.
The Federal Minister Chip has said this week, which may be opening a new door for you in your thoughts, that he's alarmed the 2.5 million kangaroo skins every 2 years are going overseas. How do you see this?
Well, all I can say is that they've been told about this for a long, long time, for quite a number of years. They've been told what's been going on, the federal government, and it's taken him a long time to become alarmed. Actually, I don't really know. I hope what Mr. Chip has said does bring about some positive action to stop the massacre of the kangaroos.
You've had contact with overseas leaders on this subject too, haven't you?
Yes, only about a week ago I sent a cable to President Nixon when I heard of some kangaroos at Whitecliff starving. And I appealed to President Nixon for a $50,000 donation. I had done this because I had read reports of 28 million leaving Australia in profits from pet food sales, and the main ingredient, of course, is kangaroo meat. And I didn't think it was unreasonable to ask for a $50,000 grant from America. We also have petitions in circulation throughout Australia to the United Nations, asking that body to take some action.
Do you really think that the average Australian cares about the fate of the kangaroo?
Well, by the numbers that have signed this petition to the United Nations, I'm sure they do. And if there was a referendum taken tomorrow, I would say to be carried by about 85% majority.
Mr. Queripel's estimated 15% anti-protection vote might well include businessmen who rely on kangaroo skins for profit, like manufacturers of toy fur animals. This is not a very big factory, yet it processes 150 kangaroo skins every day, which it buys from Queensland at an average $1.50 a skin. The factory turns out 900 kangaroo fur toys a week. More than half are consigned direct to tourist centres overseas and account for $160,000 in export earnings a year. An export ban would certainly hit this trade. But as Mr. Queripel sees it, finance should be no consideration in the battle to save the kangaroo.
Well, I have gone through most of my ready cash, but I still have some property. And if they continue to force my hand, the government refuses to do what we feel they should do, I'm prepared to realise on my property and spend all my money. I wouldn't care if I died penniless. At least I'll die with a clear conscience.